Hey everybody, this is Nick. Today we're going to be doing an episode of Paco's Insight on This is Nick. I just started this channel, and as of right now, everything on the channel is revolving around police use of forces, but that's going to change. So we got Paco in here today. This guy's kind of my mentor on making a YouTube channel and committing to it. So Paco, what's happening, buddy?
Yeah, no, nothing much. Thank you for having me. Even though it was me popping over was unexpected, but yeah, at least we're able to do something with it.
Paco just showed up at my driveway.
Yeah.
So Patrick, how long have you been doing YouTube, man?
Since 2009 was when I made my Roy1296 channel.
And what inspired you to get into making videos and stuff?
I don't know. I had a lot of influence from like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye at the time, and I was just like, yeah, hey, let me just pick up the reins and start putting some stupid videos out there. A lot of my first videos I made on the channel ain't even on there. That's how stupid they were. You know, but as I got more involved, I did reaction videos a lot. And, you know, now I do mainly gaming, best of montages where every other clip is a fart.
I love that.
Yeah. I love that. He's like, I'm trying to be supportive. Not really.
All right. So, Patrick, what is it that made us create Paco's Insight? Not so much Paco's Playground, but Paco's Insight.
Paco's Insight was kind of something that we started in the heat of the moment. You know, you came over my house one day and we were like, let's make our YouTube video. And, you know, we didn't know what we were going to make it on. And we just touched base on mental health. And it was a swish. We watched the video back and we're like, wow, this actually has some potential.
Right.
We had to kind of scrap those videos that we did, the first Paco's Insight ones, because we swore every other word. So now we keep it PG and we represent.
We keep it real.
We keep it real.
You know, I'm very devout in my faith too. So that's something to bring up. I guess we'll bring up in the discussion of how Paco's Playground came to be and all that, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of this is mental health, but I identify as a Christian. So a lot of the things that I want to represent about mental health have to be in line with those things that I believe, you know what I mean? And I think that people are not that far away from getting the help that they need. And I think Paco's on the same keen. So we talk about a lot of stuff on Paco's Playground that all circles back to mental health and like the way society runs itself today, which is kind of broken. So we're able to look at that and try to give people some type of hope and understand that things are going to get better. What is today is not tomorrow, and we're going to be fine.
Yeah.
It's tough to say that, but I think that's true. You know, I want to touch a little bit on some of the work that we did with Apple Monster, and even some of the stuff we did back in the day with the DEA. You know, Paco and I made a couple of attempts to make gaming YouTube videos. Remember when I did LSPDFR and it couldn't get it right? So I think that
yeah, I remember when you thought you had it perfect and no audio was coming through. I'm texting you, I'm like, we can't hear you, and you're like oh, and that.
I mean, you may, and I use that term lightly, see some LSPDFR videos here.
And literally, I just picked up LSPD. I played it for a little bit last night in the first time in over like a month. Ever since the last update, I haven't really touched it more than twice. So I picked it up and the game still works good. So maybe I'll do a video on that because I still have yet to show off the NYPD cruises and everything. Yeah, I don't think I haven't done a proper stream on that yet.
I think we're definitely going to see some of that content come back probably. But yeah, I'm going to leave the link to Paco's Playground here in the description. Mm-hmm. They do a lot of gaming stuff also. He's kind of more in the gaming side where I'm kind of not. But I'm going to try to be a bunch of different things. Something I want to talk about today is I'm starting a new job on Monday. So Paco and I are going to discuss what it is to start a new job, and I'll discuss what it is to switch careers in this episode. So Paco, how long you been doing what you're doing?
3 years. But yeah, going on 3 years in July.
You had a little switch there in between where you had to go from one location to another. In fact,
Mhm.
same company, but
Same location, different site. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, that was that transition period was hard, because nothing could prepare me from working where I worked and then going to it's a whole new atmosphere where I work.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I work overnights now, so I don't see nearly as much as the BS that I saw before. I don't see that many shootings, and I guess just a couple weeks ago, my boss told me, and this is news to me, but I don't hear as much as I do now because I work overnights. But I guess a couple weeks ago, somebody called in a phony active shooter at the mall that I work at. So that was nuts, from what I heard.
Paco was a Pollard.
Yeah.
He's been doing 3 years at security. I did mall security and loved it. Thought it was the time of my life, man.
Yeah.
Mall police was lit. Then I got a real job working in a jail.
And then you hated it.
And then I hated it. Anyways, so now I'm moving on to a new civilian sector job. Just feel like it's kind of what God's calling me to do and work in ministry and stuff like that. But Monday I start my new job, and I think it's kind of like sales oriented. So we'll see how that goes. I think it'll be interesting enough to see.
Oh, maybe.
Here we go. We got a cameo from the baby. Show her up. She's 7 months old. So, Paco, what kind of advice would you give people that are switching jobs or starting new jobs or whatever, or maybe it's their first job? And what kind of an insight would you share or shed on that?
I mean, obviously you're going to be nervous. No matter what you do, you're going to be nervous. So I'd say just, go in there with the open mindset, I mean, don't take anything for granted, expect the unexpected, even if, the job you think is going to be for you, even if your first day you realize, yeah, this job ain't for me, so be it, but always try new things, go out of your comfort zone, you'll be surprised. Because literally when Nick got me into, public safety, I didn't think I was going to like it. Literally, Nick, the minute I got my license, he's like, you're applying at the Galleria Mall. I didn't think I was going to like it,
I knew he was going to like it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a swish.
And look at me. I'm still working for the same company. 3 years later, just different site. Because for those of you, in Mass who know the Galleria Mall, it's almost a parking lot now. It's basically an empty parking lot.
I'm not going to share any of the details of my career at this time, but I can tell you everything he said is totally true. Like when you switch jobs, you may feel a lot of things like happy that you got the new job that you applied for, nervous about your schedule and things like that, how often you're going to be with your family and friends type of shit, kind of where you're going to be at in this whole equation. But the fact is, you live your work as a part of your life. It's not your life though. So you have to be able to make these decisions on the fly about what kind of work you want to do. And if the job isn't for you, start making accommodations to find a job that is for you. Start looking for something different so you can grow and you're not stuck in the same place that you were before. Growth is something spiritual that is constantly happening in us. You don't want to stop that because you're worried about, will you find a new job? Will it pay enough? You want to be open-minded throughout your whole life to do something that, you feel passionate about, or you like at least, or you can tolerate and stand. If you're doing something that you hate, you need to leave. If you're doing something that brings you down, you need to move on from your job because, a large portion of your life is spent in the work that you do. So you don't want the work that you do to depress you in any way. You want it to be kind of even throughout. Right, Paco?
Yeah. And that saying that if you enjoy what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And yeah, forgive me. I'm trying to keep the dog off of me while I talk.
This talk is crazy.
But
I think that this is
But yeah, if you enjoy the work that you'll do, you'll never work a day in your life, And that attributes to a lot Nick said, You don't want to, you don't want to start a job with, like it all.
Yep.
Because no matter what job you go into, you're never going to know it all. There's always going to be something you're going to learn, whether on your first day or your third year,
And naturally, anything can happen in that job.
Mm-hmm.
So a job that you get into and you like right now, you might not like in 5 years, 2 years, 10
Mm-hmm.
years. Anything can happen, and you have to be adaptable. You always want to be learning stuff.
Yep.
And make sure that you don't get stagnant and you end up in one place. You want to continue to grow. You want to continue to grow your life. If you stay stagnant in one place, you're going to have a lot more hardship than if you're proactive and you're out there trying to do, learn new things. That's the best way to grow in your ability to have a job, get a job, whatever the case is. It helps when you have skills that you keep learning. Different things may interest you at different times. It's perfectly acceptable to continue to explore what those are, what that means. Right, Paco?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, when I started in public safety, I didn't think I was going to devote, 3 years to the job. And I'm still probably not going to leave anytime soon. Like I said, I work overnights and I love it. I mean, I'm not really, I don't want to say I'm not a people person, but, I don't have to deal with anybody. The highlight of my night is what am I going to choose to watch on YouTube? I don't, now I've had, like Nick said, you got to expect the unexpected and stuff can happen. I've dealt with situations on overnights that I never thought I was going to, that typically somebody on overnights probably wouldn't experience, but I've done the job long enough where I know I can handle it, and, and I have.
There's a lot of sad days you're going to have depending on what kind of work you do.
Mm-hmm.
So public safety is one of those thankless jobs. In public safety, also really any first response type of job, these police officer, firefighters, and emergency response type of dispatch jobs, a lot of trauma in those jobs. What's the incident now, Paco?
Phoebe's standing on Brady. Brady's taking a nap, and Phoebe's just standing right
Brady's
on him.
sleeping. That's fine.
She's like, yeah, let me just use him as a stepping stone.
So as you can see, my little dog's face in the back there.
Yep.
She's a little menace here. She's trying to cause all kinds of problems, but she's a part of the house here. She's just as much a part of it as Paco. Anyways, there's a lot of sadness in those public safety law enforcement jobs. That's something you have to consider if you're going to get into public safety, right? You're going to see some traumatic stuff that sucks. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It will happen. Whether you're a mall cop or you're a state trooper, you're going to see stuff that's...
Brady's pushing me off the chair.
That's...
I'm trying to scoot up so I'm not sitting on him. And every time I scoot up, he's like, hold on, I can move over a little more. So, but yeah, no, I mean, like I said, the incident that sticks out the most for me that I've seen was in the time that a 2-year-old toddler ripped the tip of her finger off in the escalator. That was,
Paco was pretty tight that day. Obviously, when you see something traumatic like that, it's pretty bad.
No, it's not even that traumatic. It's just hearing her scream in pain and not being able to do nothing. Oh, yeah, no, we're calling 911.
We'll have a story time section.
Yeah.
I think we're going to do a video after this on story time and job-related stories. But biggest thing is that you subscribe to Paco's Insight. And you watch these videos. We try to put them up at least weekly, a couple of videos a week. Obviously, schedules allow certain constrictions to take over, so we're not able to do it. But when possible, we're trying to review different content. We have some funny stuff. We have some serious stuff. We got a lot of mental health content. Love to help you out. Love to hear your story. We don't care what it is. We also are honest about our opinions, which is I wouldn't say we're super hardline, but some of the things that we see that render us to have opinions, we do have opinions about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, Paco?
We try to, we don't try to be biased either,
Uh-oh.
Oh, that was you.
Uh-oh, somebody's calling. So, yeah, agreed.
Who Carly? Who Carly?
I don't know who's calling. Let's see who's calling. Hello? You calling? That was an isolated incident, you guys. With that isolated incident, Paco and I are going to go, and we're going to try to think about that video maybe on Storytime and try to get a Storytime video in. Sorry for all these videos all at once, but you'll appreciate it when I don't make videos for 3 months. Okay.